Peace, wholeness, love, and light. I am Nudiamonds here with the pyramids, the hidden city reading, okay, energy breakdown, presentation. We're gonna jump into it and deep dive into this energy. I thought this was pretty interesting, given that we just had entered spring and it's this whole mystery energy when it comes to these pyramids, okay? This is one of the world's greatest mysteries when it comes to these pyramids and what do they do, and they've been here for centuries and they're still standing, right? Are they tombs? Are there electric power generators? Are they a free source of energy? Okay. This also takes me back to Las Vegas with the Luxor, with that light beaming up, right? And the most interesting thing is I've been getting downloads about this and I did not know what was going on until I did the breakdown on this read, and I was like, it all makes sense. So I feel like this is a very, what a time to be alive. We have more mysterious things being revealed to us with these files, with these JFK documents, with him wanting to disclose more information about ancient technology, right? And I feel like we have always been curious about these pyramids, right? Because we always told they were one thing, but we always had inclination that there was something else going on with these pyramids. I know I did, right? So let's get into it. Okay, I'm gonna be looking at my notes, and yeah. So the pyramids, right? Like I said, it's one of the biggest mysteries in history, right? Mystery, history, my story, right? What is the true story behind the pyramids? Well, there, like I said, there's been so many different misconceptions about what they do, and they know that it's a chamber, and the way how the chamber is set up, there's certain cubic cuts and dimensions and secret areas and secret tombs that lead to different places that you could get lost in if you don't have the right key, if you don't have the right map, right? So this is a sort of blueprint for something, right? It's more than what they told us it was, right? So I like to think of it as a huge generator, right? And I say this because we know that they were made out of crystals, right? The top of it was made out of clear quartz or granite crystals. And, you know, at back in the day, they said that it used to light up, literally how the Luxor would light up if, when it was aligned with these certain star systems, right? So it's aligned with Orion and Sirius during the summer, which I thought was pretty funny because in that whole area, we have these three pyramids. We have the Sphinx, and the Sphinx is, to me, attributed to a lioness. Now, that Sphinx is actually faced towards the Leo constellation, which I believe during the dynasty, during that time, it might have been the age of Leo, right? As we are in the age of Pisces and heading into the age of Aquarius. So they, and during the age of Taurus, they worship the bull. So it's this whole different dynasty age time frame that we are entering in with this new, well, really ancient, right? Back to the future, because this is something that was built years upon centuries ago that they're just now finding out. So it's like this ancient technology is really future technology because they're just now discovering this. And I thought that was pretty amazing. Like whatever built these pyramids was of genius, right? It were some geniuses, highly intelligent beings that deep dove into this information to construct these pyramids the way they did, and also have these hidden chambers within the pyramid. And not only is it hidden chambers, these like cylinders go down to 500 feet underneath the ground. So it's like, who the hell was digging 500 feet underneath the surface? Like, come on now, if this don't scream aliens, if this don't scream benevolent, high intelligent beings, right? And how on earth do you align some pyramids with a star system that you don't even have the technology to see? The modern day technology that we have, like how the Dogons knew about Sirius before they discovered Sirius. And they also said that it was extra star system and planets in Sirius that they said we couldn't even see with the naked eye. So it's like there is some type of telepathy and some type of like communication going on to where these people have this information. And I think it's just amazing, right? This great big mystery, and there's even more to the mystery, right? So yeah, these pyramids are aligned with star systems. How genius is that, right? I like to think of it as this is connected to your soul. This is connected to your spirit. As we know, Sirius is the planet of where our souls originate from. And it's kind of like a spiritual thing, right? These Sirians, these highly intelligent beings, these Atlanteans, these Lamerians, right? And that kind of takes me back to this whole underground city. I also did a breakdown on Crystal City. If you guys haven't checked that out, I suggest that you do. But I kind of deep dove into this whole underground thing, this whole like Agatha inner earth energy, as there were beings that live under earth and survived and thrived in this environment, and they had to be highly intelligent. It makes me think of ants. You know, ants build these colonies that are bigger than some football stadiums, and it's all on the ground. So there is a whole nother underground phenomenon that is going on, right? We just aren't aware of it due to us being on the surface. So it's kind of like an iceberg, right? It looks a certain way, but then you go deep down under, baby, it's a whole nother world, right? So I love it. I said it's a gateway to Sirius star system, a portal. Another thing with the Egyptians that, or Nubians, or these ancient Africans, right? Because this is in Africa, or, you know, whatever you want to call it, whatever these people want to call it, the Middle East. This happened in the continent of Africa, right? So we all know their obsession with the dead, right? The Egyptian Book of the Dead, Osiris and regenerating, Anubis and him being the underworld, the guardian of the underworld. And Anubis is attributed to Sirius, right? Anubis, Sirius, right? Osiris, Isis, right? They all have this community that they were working on when it comes to this foundation, this dynasty, this tribe, right? It gives me like they were a sense of a huge big tribe, and they all originated from different places, but they were able to work together. And they were kind of trying to figure out, well, what is this underworld? What is this death energy? And Thoth would do different experiments when it come to traveling to the afterworld, you know, them cutting open the brain and it looking like the Eye of Ra. And they would just do all type of different experiments when it comes to meditation and levitation and opening up portals. They weren't afraid to play with their magic. They weren't afraid of their magic, right? And they will also do it like elixirs as well, like the Blue Lotus down the Nile. So they were basically trying to find, to me, it seemed like they were trying to find their way back home, right? All this obsession with the dead. Where does my soul come from? Who am I? And how do I get back to where I'm from? That's where it kind of, you know, how do I get back to heaven, right? It's kind of giving that sense of my soul originated from somewhere, this place that I'm connected to. Every time I look up in the sky, the stars twinkling. And how do I get back there, right? So it was this obsession with the dead, the afterlife, the underworld, right? And that reminds me of winter as well, when we have to go deep within ourselves to find ourselves and be one with ourselves and really get in tune with who we are. And then another thing that was kind of interesting to me was it was aligned with the Orion constellation. And Orion, it reminds me of the Ori, right? If you're into, like I said, African spirituality, you know, the Ori is the head, the crown, right? And also made me think of Osiris, this Orion, this Osiris. And Osiris was Osar, and he was cut down to the 14 pieces, right? To be revived and rejuvenated by Isis, right? After his brother Seth, you know, tricked him, cut him up, or, you know, whatever happened. I can't really remember the story, but y'all know what I'm getting to. Like this Osiris, this regenerative energy that you have to tap into to this new rebirth, this new life, right? It's the death and it's the rebirth. It's this rejuvenated energy, this resurrection energy that is here, right? Like I said, going into spring, it's the resurrection, right? With Thoth, right? This whole ancient deity of this intelligence, of this communicating, of this record keeper, the one who would write down certain things, and just highly intelligent, following the heart, very healing, the magician, right? It's all of these different things. And Thoth is known by many names, right? Jehudi, Tahuti, Jesus, one with Isis, what is his name? Not Mount Chesedek. I can't think of his name, but y'all know this entity goes by a lot of different names, right? So it's just about tapping into that energy, right? Heru, the hero, right? And Horus, right? This another falcon-like being, another falcon-like bird energy. And like I said, when I think of the bird, I think of Isis. I think of the hawk, right? I think of the owl. I think of the eagle. All of these birds are highly intelligent and they fly high, but they're able to come back down to the ground. And they also have a sense of foresight. They're able to see beyond the regular sight and tap into a deeper, higher knowledge when it comes to this realm. So I just thought that was pretty interesting. Another thing that I thought was pretty interesting was this Khafre, right? Because Khafre is the middle pyramid, not the Great Pyramid. And I was like, well, who is Khafre, right? So I looked up Khafre and I looked up the meaning for the name, and it says re in appearance. And I was like, that's pretty interesting. Re in appearance. It's kind of like resurrection, reappearing, rebirth, right? Coming back into life, right? And re is a sense of Ra, right? This sun energy, this revival energy, the sun going back into spring for this rejuvenated, resurrected, revival energy, okay? And they also called this the Khafre Project 8, where they would use SAR tech, SAR tech. It's kind of like this sonar, heat, radiation technology to see the unseen. It's kind of like a radar, same type of technology that they use to do submarine adventures, where they use the radar, and also this heat wave technology, so that way they can like discover energy. I'm kind of getting a sense of like a metal detector, like it kind of scans the area for any activity or any minerals or anything like that. So they use this advanced technology that I feel like they stole from the ancient Egyptians, this ancient dynasty anyway, like I said, Back to the Future, to discover certain things, right? So this Khafre pyramid it has these 8 spiral wells, right? These 8 wells that go down into the earth. And like I said, they go down into earth about 500 feet into the earth. Now, who the hell, what human, we can barely dig 6 feet, right? To lay somebody to rest. Like I said, this afterlife, this underworld energy. Who gonna be digging 500 feet to put these big ass cylinders? And who put these big ass cylinders down there? Like, these are taller than like the Eiffel Tower. These are giant, malevolent, like it's giving the giants did it. Like, who put these structures down under and then covered them up, assembled the pyramid. They still can't figure out who built the pyramid. So who the hell built these? Come on now. It make sense. The math ain't mathing. All right. I ain't no slaves. Oh yeah, slaves. The Pharaoh had these slaves and no, we're not falling for that no more. I ain't falling for y'all lies no more. Explain this one. All right. Explain it. We need some answers, and they ain't got the answers. You ain't got the answers, Sway. You ain't got the answers because it's beyond their intelligence, right? They don't know. They need to just quit playing and stop trying to rewrite all the history and going into these tombs and trying to claim things that aren't theirs. This was in Africa. Give the power back to the people. All right. Power to the people, y'all. All right. So yeah, like I said, and on top of that, these 8 cylinders had 5 extra pyramids, jed pillars, right? Jed pillars are the source of energy to be extracted from free energy, a sense of an energy conductor, a power plant, that were aligned directly under the Great Pyramid, the Pyramid of Giza's, all of these. So they were perfectly aligned to these pyramids that are on top, as above, so below, right? And they were made out of crystal. They were made out of pure granite crystal, right? And they also have tuning forks attached to the crystal. So to me, like I said, if you're into spirituality, you already know what time it is. They generating some type of energy. When you hear these bells, it aligns your chakras. It's in this vibration wave, right? The ringing in the ears, attunement, fine tuning, Neptune, right? Getting in tune with the music, getting in tune with the frequency, the energy, the currency, the wave, right? Just to be aligned and to get a clear channel of information coming down from Sirius or Orion or the galaxy or these star systems, right? Because like I said, they're aligned with star systems. Okay. And it also resembles a chip in a computer. So like I said, this is some type of information transmitter, right? Some type of energy conductor to where you're able to receive information and send out information, an upload and a download, right? That's what it's giving me. And not only that, it has multifaceted uses. These pyramids aren't just a tomb. They're not just to bury pharaohs. They aren't just energy generators. They aren't just a hidden chamber to hold significant trinkets in history. They go beyond our comprehension what these pyramids can do. All right. That's just my perspective. Y'all let me know y'all perspective down in the comments on what y'all think these pyramids are. All right. Another thing that I thought was pretty interesting was that they said it was a vast underground city, meaning that it was a large, extremely huge underground city, right? And when I typed in vast underground city in the gematria, it came out to 260. And I thought that was pretty interesting because that was attributed to hidden dragon, right? And I'm like, wow, hidden dragon. Like, we all know the hidden dragon is the power. Unleash the dragon, right? Unleash your power, your hidden power. Also going back to these ancient energy beings, these ancient entities, these dragons, right? They also like to say that the Moors were the dragons, right? These high-ranked, intelligent, royal rulership beings, right? So I thought that was pretty interesting. Then it also was attributed to I love you, which I thought was pretty cool. This 260 number, and then we all know 260, 2 and 6 is the 8. So it's all about tapping back into your power at this time, a transfer of power, transmuting energy, a transmitter to tap back into your power. Also emergence, right? Coming together, sex, death, rebirth, right? Which I thought was pretty interesting. All right, so going back to the Khafre, and so I started to deep dive into this pharaoh because I didn't know who he was, what he was, so I started to do a little research, right? And the more I deep dove into the research and seeing pictures, I was like, wait a minute, he has a falcon on the back of his neck. He has this bird, and I know that is attributed to Horus, right? So, as I deep dove into Horus, he had Horus on his back, which means that he was protected by the divine. All right. And Horus, we all know the Eye of Horus, right? The Eye of Ra. The Eye of Horus is attributed to the moon. The Eye of Ra is attributed to the sun. So it's this balance of the morning sun, which is the right, and the evening star, the moon, which is attributed to the left. So Horus is attributed to the left, attributed to the feminine side, right? That nurturing, that loving energy as we restore our healing power and get back in tune with going within to receive abundance, right? Like I said, the moon, the mother, Isis, right? Because Horus' mother was Isis. All right. Which is giving me a sense of like this divine alignment with the stars to rise the Orion belt, rise of the Orion belt. And I say that because a belt, what is a belt? A belt is in the middle. A belt holds something together. A belt is like this gateway, right? It kept giving me like this meeting in the middle, right? Because the Khafre pyramid is the one in the middle, right? And then there's also these pyramids are in between space and in between the earth, in between the middle section. So it's like this middle section, this midway point, this gateway to the underworld and to the higher realm, to this space and time, right? So it's giving like portal energy, like a gateway, a timeline, like type of energy to where you can go back in time, a time machine, if you will, some type of divine energy that is used for multiple things. All right. That is connected to Sirius. Like I said, that this will flood the Nile in August, which is attributed to Leo season. And it kind of took me back to the Sphinx, right? The Sphinx. What is the Sphinx? The Leo, the lion, the cat, the divine feminine, right? Which took me to that Bassett energy, that segment energy, that warrior-esque energy. And then as I was taking my notes, it was 333, and I was like, wow, that's pretty interesting. It's 333, this divine alignment, right? Everything is in divine order at this time. And then also the 333 attributed to these pyramids, these three stars, it made me think of the Magi, right? And the three Magi that went to go see the birth of Yeshua, Jesus, right? They had to wait for the stars in the sky to know that the sun was born, right? A star was born. And who were the three Magi? They were these three priests, these three highly intelligent magicians, priestesses, just wisdom, men, wise men, right? The three wise men, the Magi, right? Tapped into all type of wisdom and knowledge. That went to go see the birth of Jesus. Like I said, Isis, Jesus, the resurrection, right? Then it just kept taking me back to the star systems. And as I was talking about and getting into these star systems, it just was making me think of, okay, Orion, right? Orion is attributed to Sirius, Sirius is attributed to Anubis. So it's these Egyptian deities that are connected to the stars, right? Kind of like going to this Canis Major, because it's not just Sirius, it's in the Canis Major star system, which they call the dog star system, right? Which is also attributed to this plane, this elliptical, this bow shock. All of these things dwell in this Milky Way galaxy, right? That Milky Way, that mother, right? That milk, the mother's milk. And then it also makes me think of Leo. Well, where is Leo? Leo is attributed to the Big Dipper. Well, where is the Big Dipper? In the Ursa Major. And what is the Ursa Major? The Big Bear constellation. And we all know a bear is very protective of his cubs, that big mama energy, right? So this just kept going back to divine feminine, divine masculine, and a balance between those two. This intersection to a gateway to heaven on earth, all right? Also kind of going back into this Shambala Agathian inner earth beings. Like I said, if you have to go within, you have to know who you are to ascend higher, right? You can't just be out in the world not knowing who you are. You'll win the lottery and lose it if you don't truly know the in-depth of who you are, because you'll just be feeding your flesh and feeding your desires and be right back into the same place, right back at the same place that you started at. That's why it's always good to deep dive within yourself, go within, as within, so without, right? So that way you can continue to exude this royal rulership and this royal power at this time, okay? And another thing that was pretty interesting was that these structures were read on that SAR technology. I said SCAR, on that SAR technology, which means that they're heating up, right? So things are heating up, time is heating up, the core of the earth is heating up. That's why the days are going by faster, these years are going by faster, everything is speeding up. We're in a whole nother different part of the galaxy, right? And the time is now, right? It's just time for these things to be revealed. The great unveiling, Pluto's in Aquarius, right? Great revelations for the generations to tap into, right? Rewriting of history. Rewrite your own story. Make your own story. My story, right? Make sure you guys are writing down notes on these type of things so that way we can pass these stories down to our generations. All right. So with these pyramids being heated up is giving a sense of they're being activated, all right? Great activation. And not only are these pyramids being activated, we are too. The earth is being activated. Everything's being activated in the galaxy and the universe. It's just time, all right? We are in a solar cycle 25, meaning that the earth is going to heat up. It's going to be more solar flares. It's going to be more spikes on the human resonance charts. This is a energetic galactic thing. This isn't just a earth thing, okay? Ancient civilizations being discovered, being rediscovered, being remembered, right? Because like I said, this is something that is ancient city. So it's been there this whole time. They just never discovered it or disclosed it to us, right? And it's pretty interesting how soon as the president say, hey, you guys, we're going to release some things. Hey, you guys, there are things that we have are out of control. All this stuff just starts coming out. So they have to give us the truth. All right. We're in the revelations. We're in that time where things will be revealed. Armageddon means the great revealing, right? So things are going to be revealed, and it's up to us if you want to see the truth or not. Use your first eye to see some of these type of things that they're disclosing, and use your own discernment when we deep dive into these spiritual, occult history knowledge, all right? That's going to be your best guidance, is using your own nose, right? Using your own intelligence at this time. I said the ancestors are here, right? And the ancestors are here, right? So they're here for us. They're walking with us. They reside within us. We have their blood flowing through our veins, the bloodline. And this is all about ancient revival, reviving of that ancient history. All right. As above, so below. In the waters as well, right? As above, so below just doesn't mean the earth. Like I said, this is connected to the Nile, and the Nile will flood. So this is connected to the water, right? The Delphi. When I thought of Delphi, I thought of dolphins, right? Dolphins are connected to Atlantis, these ancient Syrian beings that were highly intelligent. These Atlantis, right? Atlantic, right? This trident, this Neptune energy, these mermaids, right? There's just a lot. There's a lot that is being disclosed, and we just have to use our first eye to see what is going on. But to me, the message is very clear that the veil is being lifted, and they have to give us these things so that way when these things are unveiled, people don't go into shock. And they aren't just like flabbergasted with the information. They're just like, oh, okay, soft disclosure, right? But all of this stuff has been here for years. The dolphins been here for, before humans, these aquatic beings, because the water was here first, right? Then the earth started to form. Then the volcano started to erupt. So it's this, like I said, this ancient information, this ancient technology, this source, universal energy that has been here. It's been here. They've been here, right? It's just that we're remembering and rediscovering all of these things at this time, okay? Like I said, giving that telepathic, higher knowing, intuitive, clear cognizance, clear audience type of feel with this telepathic communication, and also healing, this very healing, nurturing energy, going back to the Isis, going back to the Atlanteans, going back to Big Mama energy, right? Going back to the dolphins, this aquatic energy, going back to this water energy. Water is cleansing, water is healing, water is nurturing, but too much water can drown you. Too much information, you'll be lost, right? So you kind of got to find your way within this current, within this flow, within this energy, and just kind of go with the flow, right? The waves, the frequency, the currency, the electricity, it was giving me that Aquarian energy, that Aquarian, that aquatic, but also being one with the mind, because Aquarius, even though it's the water bearer, the person pouring the water, the information, it is an air sign. So it's coming up for air as well. Like I said, the as above, so below, right? Pouring information down from the stars. EMF, this electric magnetic field, this heart pulse, this energy wave of the earth, because the belt, right? What is the belt? It is the middle point, the Orion belt, the Van Allen belt, right? And that is the electric magnetic field around the earth. But it's this 8, right? It's this infinity loop. So, and what is 8? 8 is August. So for me, this is giving something's going to pop off in August. All right. I've been really feeling that. If you guys checked out my other readings, you guys already know I've been talking about this summer, solar cycle. So things are literally heating up, you guys. So yeah, that is kind of the breakdown that I did. I also did a meditation on this energy. It was very interesting because like I said, I've been picking up on this energy and I did not know why I was picking up on this energy. Like I said, I've been seeing owls. I've been seeing falcons. I've been having this Thoth-like energy, this Tahuti-like energy, this Horus-like energy come to me in meditations. And I'm just like, oh, okay, another deity, another energy for me to tap into to translate the message. But when I really deep dove into what was happening, we are all being contacted at this time due to the earth evolving, due to us evolving. So this is just a time where we take in all of this information and be open to new beginnings, right? So for me, the pyramids are some type of intergalactic portal for the cosmos. It's a gateway for the cosmos, right? And I say that because the Orion belt, right? The Sirius star system, it's aligned with that. And when you come down to Earth, you hit the Van Allen belt, right? So it's these belts, it's this middle way. And then these pyramids are right in the middle, right? They're not underneath, they're not floating. So it's this semiotic relationship with this being in the middle and portaling through, transferring through, going through the portal to another gateway, another dimension, a Stargate, if you will. So that's one of the things that I think that the pyramids are tapped into, is a galactic gateway. Also a healing chamber, also a power plant. Also, I feel like it's a multi-dimensional, multifunctional thing, just like we are, right? It's not just one thing, it's all things. So yeah, like I said, I had also did a meditation on this energy, and soon as I deep dove into the meditation, I seen an owl, I seen a Taurus field, and I thought that was pretty interesting, because I'm like, wow, I could have seen anything, but the first thing I seen was a big bird, right? Gave me a sense of like this galactic energy, this avian energy, which are these bird-like deities. Like I said, this Thoth-like energy, this higher wisdom, because owls represent wisdom, going back to Athena, which was with Apollo, and Apollo was attributed to that Delphi, this high priest, this high, I keep getting tapped on my shoulder, this high priest energy, this high priestess energy, to tap into wisdom and divine knowledge at this time, okay? So it gave me a sense of the aura and the heart. Like I said, being in the middle, because our hearts are the middle segue for our body. Our chest is the middle segue for our body, right? And I said the pyramids are a middle ground for the stars, a gateway, a portal from Sirius to Orion and to other star systems. Then I also seen the four corners of the earth. And then it took me back to summer, spring, winter, and fall, connected to Polaris. So connected to the Big Dipper, right? Going back into that Big Mama energy, right? Then I heard Scorpio, which is all about that 8, that merging, that rebirth, that transformation, going from this lower nature to this higher nature, going from the snake, going from the scorpion to the phoenix or to the eagle, right? Rising higher, right? Their rebirth, their regeneration, dusting that, those ashes off to be reborn, to fly, right? Then I also heard Virgo. And as soon as I heard Virgo, my heart palpitated twice. And I had to like inhale and exhale, because it kind of took my breath away. So it's this opening of the heart, this chamber of the heart, this higher heart activation, and 2 times, right? So when I thought of that, I was like, okay, well, Virgo 2 times. Well, the only thing I could think of happening 2 times in Virgo will be the sun and the moon. And I was like, well, when will this happen? This will happen in August. And I was like, wow, the Virgo new moon will happen, I believe, in August, or like August 23rd, right? And I was like, wow, how interesting is that, coming right out of Leo season, and it's happened at the 0 degree, on the cusp, right? So I thought that was pretty interesting. And then I also heard crown at your feet. If you study the star constellations, you know Virgo, the Virgin, she has the Corolla Borealis right at her feet, right next to Ophiuchus, right? The snake charmer, the snake bearer, which is right next to Scorpio. So it's like this season, this whole summer and fall season is going to be very lit. It's very telling. Something will happen. But they're not disclosed. They wouldn't disclose that information. They just were giving me clues to put together, pieces to the puzzle, right? Then I seen a diamond with a X in it. And I was like, what is this? Is this some type of kite? Is this some type of chart? Is this some type of cross? And then as I began to look, I was like, oh my goodness, this is the top of the pyramid. So it kind of gave me a sense of like looking at the pyramids from a different perspective. Because it kind of felt like I was astro projecting or astro traveling and looking at the pyramids as I was doing this meditation, which I probably was. I don't know. I just be doing stuff. I don't even fully know my gifts. I'm tapping in too as I be doing these readings with y'all, and everything is new to me. And I feel like that's what's happening. It's this newness that we're rediscovering within ourselves and within the earth, within the atmosphere, within the universe. And we're remembering our gifts, remembering who we are as we tap into our internal gifts and our internal powers. All right. Yeah, so it started to expand and I seen the pyramids overview, and then it like came down and I could see the pyramids from a vertical view, and the pyramid started to slowly turn counterclockwise. So this is kind of like going back in time to retrieve your greatness, going back in time to be aligned, going back in time to ascend with the Most High, be one with the Most High. All right. Then a spirit told me to cover my eyes. So, because I was doing this in the daytime and it was bright red and gold, but I could still see the energy. Spirit said, cover your eyes. And I was like, okay, I covered my eyes. Everything went blue. And I was like, wow, this is beautiful, from red to the blue, right? And red and blue make purple, that royal rulership, that royal reign, right? But the red and the blue, the masculine, the feminine, the light, the dark, right? Then as I'm covering my eyes, I seen the pyramid come down and land. So I was like, whoa. And it's crazy because I've had past dreams, which could have been like a past lifetime type of thing. I don't know. Past life regression type of thing, where I've seen the pyramids landing here. I've seen the pyramids flying. I've also seen cartoons, ancient cartoons, old cartoons. I'm pretty sure we all have kind of seen that cartoon. If you know the cartoon, please put it down in the link, where the cartoon would show these ancient Egyptians, these black Egyptians, melanated Egyptians, and the pyramids would fly like spaceships. They were crafts that dwelled here, that descended here from ancient places. I don't know, but I'm just reading y'all the meditation at this point, okay? So yeah, I seen the pyramids land here, and on my notes when I was doing my meditation, I was 2 minutes and 22 seconds in, so it was 222, which gave me a sense of this great divine union, right? That pyramids came here, which could be another, they always say we built them. What about another way that they got here? What if they're ships? What if they got sent down here? You never know. You never know. So I thought that was pretty interesting. So that gave me a sense of like these ships. Then as they landed, I seen this black dot, and it was like going off like a beacon call, this beam of light. The black dot, the center of the universe, right? Big Mama, source energy, source code, the center, a transmitter and a tracker, right? What if these are like GPS trackers or something? Like, it was giving me a sense of some ancient technology that we, like I said, we still don't know what these pyramids are, what these pyramids do. Like, we're still finding out, and they're just now discovering this. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And then it gave me, like, as I zoomed into the black dot, I could see layers of civilizations. And it was like going from like an old dynasty to like the dynasty that we're in now, the time frame that we're in now. And it was like a city within a city, a timeline within a timeline, a age within a age, right? It was just very interesting the way how I seen it, and I could see it now. It's like this, like how they have the hieroglyphs, and it's all of these different writings on the wall, but it looked like that, but more modern. It got more modern in time to where it was us at the top. All right. And then a spirit came through, right? I seen a spirit. I seen a being with an elongated head and very tight eyes. And soon as I seen the spirit, I felt like saying Akhenaten. I'm like, this has to be some type of Akhenaten energy. And then I heard, may I? And I was like, okay, you may. Yes, you may. Like, I felt the energy. It was very clear and pure and heart centered with a activated crown. Like, I could feel the energy of the spirit, and it was very benevolent. A benevolent spirit came to me, right? And when it said, may I, it was basically asking, can I channel a message through you? And I love that it even asked me permission, because my spirit guys, they just be busting through like, hey, what's up? Hey, I'm here. I'm about to start channeling through you. So I was like, wow, how polite of this spirit to even come through and ask, may I? And I said, yes, right? And I gave him permission. And then it said, we are here to serve a higher purpose for the collective, enlightening and enriching what was once stolen from the royals. We are here to serve and enlighten humanity. We are the brave, strong, witty, intelligent life forms. We give gratitude for you and others that are walking in their light and shining brightly. Bring peace and wholeness to the collective. Now it's our time to reign supreme. Bring back true royal rulership. I am here to remind you of who you are. And as I said that, it was 4:44 on my time thing. And I was like, wow, I hit 3:33, I hit 2:22, and I hit 4:44. Right? So it's this divine energy, this confirmation from spirit that was happening, right? So it said, I'm here to remind you of who you are and remind you that the stars reside within you and we are one. Then it started to speak light language. I wrote it down, but it felt very sacred. It felt very royal, right? It felt like something is being activated for sure, because it activated something within me as I heard the light language. And I started to see like green energy around me, which I thought was pretty dope. And then the last words was Akhenaten. And then it says, bring peace to you and peace to all who dare enter this realm of this level of knowing. They have made it hard for you to be enlightened, but you are enlightened and enriched within the soul's core of your being. Continue to prosper on this journey as me and other light and star beings continue to guide you. Ashe. And it was like, Ashe. And I was like, Ashe. And it was like, and so it is done. Peace, Earthling, until next time. And that was the end of the transmission. And I was like, wow, I give so much gratitude. I was like, thank you, gratitude. I'm very grateful to have that experience. And when I looked at the clock, it was 4:44. And I was like, wow, how interesting is that? You know, like divine alignment, 4:44, that is most definitely connected to the Most High. And yeah, it's just remembering who we are and tapping back into our power and not being afraid of that at this time, and embracing these new discoveries, or remembering these ancient energies that dwell within us, right? And activating that with our first mind, our first eye, and our chakras, our bodies, our minds, our souls, our spirits, our temples, right? And being in tune with that, because it also made me think of how people always say they go to the pyramid of Giza and they have this outer body they're not the same. Everybody talks about how they're not the same after they leave these pyramids, and it's because of this energy transfer that is going on within them, right? It's a huge energy grid that is activated, and I feel like that is happening all over the planet right now. So yeah, that is my breakdown for these pyramids in the hidden city, the vast, large hidden city that is underneath this underground city. You guys, let me know what you think down in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.